is the CEO at Starbucks, the coffee company, global coffee company. Everybody knows it. I actually have a Starbucks right here that I've been drinking. So he is running this global conglomerate, and he wrote this book called Onward. He had stepped away from being Starbucks CEO for a number of years, and he decided that he had to come back to reboot the company because while he was away, some issues happened with the company, and he realized it wasn't really towards the company's mission. And this book, Onward, is all about his mindset and what happened when he came back to Starbucks after not being the CEO for all that time. So these are 3 rules from Howard Schultz Onward. Let's jump into it. Rule number 1 is product quality is the most important thing. So as Starbucks scaled, the customer experience started to break down. They invested in some new coffee machines that had blocked the ability for baristas to make eye contact. They had started stocking their stores with a bunch of random stuff. So like instead of just music, they had started selling stuffed animals and all this stuff that had nothing to do with coffee. The taste of the coffee had gotten burnt because the baristas really didn't know how to make a proper espresso, or they'd been steaming the milk the wrong way. Like all these random breakdowns had been happening while Howard Schultz wasn't the CEO. And he realized that product quality is the most important thing. So he implemented a few things, 3 things to start. He invested in new coffee machines that were lower in terms of the eye level so that people could really experience it. He closed all of his stores for a day to retrain all the baristas how to make espresso. And then the other thing that was wrong was he had been selling sandwiches in the store, but the cheese on the sandwiches would melt and it would make the whole store smell like cheese instead of coffee. So he removed the sandwiches because of the cheese smell. So his first act as CEO was to reboot, right? To get the company back. And if you're looking at your own company, do this thought exercise. Try to look at your company as an outside observer, right? If you were a customer and you were treated the same way that your customers are being treated, would you continue to buy from yourself? And if not, what needs to be changed there? Is your product quality as high as it could be? Are your services as good as you say they are, as your sales team is saying? If not, it's time to improve. Rule number 2 is make cuts no matter if they hurt.
No company is immune from the impact of the recession, not even the one-time darling of Wall Street, Starbucks. Same-store sales in this country have dropped 9% since the end of September, and Starbucks is finding that getting back to its venti-sized profits could be a tall order.
So after he improved the product quality, he knew that he needed to make cuts. So one of the things that the CEO that was in charge before him did was try to expand Starbucks as big as it possibly could, that Howard Schultz knew wasn't sustainable. So he had to close all these stores, especially around 2008 when the recession hit. People started losing their jobs. People couldn't afford a $5 coffee anymore, and Starbucks became more of a luxury. So he closed stores all around the world during the 2008 recession. And one of the things he writes about in this book is as he was closing these stores, people in the stores, customers and the baristas, would send him messages and literally beg him not to close the stores because it's part of their habits or whatever. And he still had to do it because he said that every individual in the company is not important as the business as a whole, right? He would rather a few people have to switch up their routines and go to a Starbucks that's 0.2 miles away instead of, 0.1 miles away from their house than have the entire business at risk of failing. And that's how he weathered 2008. That's how they got through the economic recession. Rule number 3 is give your employees power to change. Similar to rule number 1, and after that Great Recession happened, he realized that his employees had a lot more knowledge about what was going on with the customers than he did as the CEO in the office, or really than any of the higher-ups in the office. So what he started doing is implementing a lean process. Lean, if you don't know, is basically this process that started with manufacturers where employees are empowered to make small improvements that'll make their job more efficient without having to get approval from the higher-ups. So he let his employees identify problems for broken processes, whether that included moving around instructions for their coffee drinks, maybe rewriting the instructions to make them more efficient, moving trash cans to different parts of the store so that they could more efficiently throw things away, redoing the way that they clean stores. And he let each manager in each Starbucks have free reign within the limits of the franchise of the brand. He let them have free reign to solve these problems. And he would take those solutions and implement them on a corporate scale. The best solutions became corporate policy, and that led directly to the Starbucks you see today with all of the new redesigns and the fact that it doesn't smell like cheese sandwiches and the fact that it runs very efficiently. So implementing a lean process really worked for him. I did a video a while ago where I interviewed this guy, Etienne Garbugli, who wrote this book, Lean B2B, which is worth checking out if you want to implement a similar system for your own company. So those are the 3 rules from Howard Schultz. How'd you like them? Which one of those do you see being most relevant for your business? If you want to let me know in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. Always enjoy the feedback. Give this video a like if you want to encourage this type of content on YouTube, and subscribe to this channel for more B2B sales training. If you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. I'm Alex Berman. Thanks.